So we'll go ahead and we'll get started with the webinar for today. So again, welcome everyone if you were joined in just a little bit late. My name is Michael, and I am joined here today by my co-host Serena here.
Hi everyone, I'm going to be monitoring the chat and the Q&A. Please feel free to enter any questions or ask anything during the course of our session, and I'll be happy to help.
So today we'll be going over an overview of the website designer within ClubRunner. And just as Serena did mention, if you have any questions throughout the course of the webinar, please feel free to go ahead and input your questions into the Zoom Q&A section. And Serena will be going through and answering them as best throughout the webinar as best as she can. And we'll also be going ahead and picking out some of your questions for a live Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. So if there's anything that you want to be interested, stick around. We'll probably be able to go a little bit more in depth into that towards the end of the webinar. Some additional notes before we do get started as well. This webinar is being recorded. So for any reason at any point during the webinar you need to jump out, maybe an emergency comes up, or you just maybe you get a little bit bored and you want to come back later. We will be hosting these webinars on our website, our clubrunnersupport.com website. So you can come back and review it whenever you would like after all the changeover webinars have been concluded. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the topics that we'll be looking at today. We'll be going through primarily the website designer and all of the various different functionalities that you can do with it. So first, I want to touch off on some very basic items like how you can go about accessing the website designer. And then once we're able to get into there, we'll start taking a look at how we can customize our website, build your navigation menus, and start putting everything together to make it look exactly how you want it to look like. We'll also be taking a very quick look at the Rotary Brand Center for all of you Rotary Club executives that want to make sure that you're complying to any requirements that they may set. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and switch my screen over to our club account for now. This is our Rotary Club of Kipling, and you can see we have a website here already set up. And if we scroll down just a little bit, you can see a bunch of the different items that we already have listed here on our homepage. This allows us to go through and share information with visitors to our website however we would like. Now, when we're on this website here, there's not much that we can really do. This is the public-facing website, and we can't really make any changes quite yet. So what we need to do first is to log into the website using our ClubRunner login information. In this case, I'm already logged in, but in the top right corner, if you're not logged in already, you will see a member login link, which you can click on, and it'll ask you to type in your login credentials. And once that's done, you click submit or you click login, and it'll redirect you back to the homepage for your own club website. And once you've gotten to that point, you'll be exactly where we need to be so that we can continue on with getting access to the designer. If you're taking a look at the page that I'm on right now, you might have noticed in the bottom right corner, you see a little pencil icon. This is a really quick way for us to go ahead and access the website designer. But if you do not see this icon on your page, that means you most likely do not have access to view the website designer and open it. In order to be able to go through and actually make changes to the website within the website designer itself, you will require an access level of 30, which is saved for site administrators. If you do not have this access level or you're not already set up as a site administrator, I would recommend reaching out to either one of your club executives or one of the other site administrators for your own club, and they will be able to go through and get that assigned to you. If you do have that level 30 site administrator access, you should see this little pencil icon in the bottom right corner of your website. And if we go ahead and we click on this icon, it's going to go ahead and load up the website designer for us. You can see here it's loaded up, but I did want to show you one other way that you can access this page as well before we go deeper into this. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the Go Back button in the top left corner. And that's actually going to bring me back to the member area. Now, if you want a really quick note on how to get here, on your club's homepage, once you've logged in, you should see your name up in the top right corner, as well as the link to the member area. If you click on that member area link, it'll bring us directly to our admin dashboards in the member area where we can go through and access just about everything. Once you've been able to get into the member area in this case, we're going to go ahead and click on Website in the top blue navigation menu. And then in the secondary gray menu right below, you'll see an option Homepage Designer. We click on that. It'll bring us right back to the same page that we were just looking at by clicking on that pencil icon, which is the website designer, where we can start making all of the changes to our website. Now, a quick rundown of everything that we see here. At the very top of the page, actually, let me zoom in just a little bit, maybe to make this a little bit bigger for everyone to see. At the top banner of our website where it says Design Homepage, this is where you can go through and you can do the major actions for the website, like where you can go and preview it, as well as maybe publish any changes that you might have made. So for example, if you've gone through and you've made a handful of changes to your website already, and you wanted to take a look at how that might look like for once you decide to make all of those changes public, you can click on any of these three icons in the center of that top banner, and that will let you preview your page in a format, in the selected format that you have. So the first icon, you can take a look at what it might look like on a regular desktop or laptop computer. The second icon will allow you to take a look at what your website will look like on like a tablet device, like an iPad, or maybe like an Android tablet that you might own. And then the very last one is for mobile phones. So whether this be your regular cell phone, maybe an iPhone, Android device, any one of those, as long as you can visit a website on it, this is how it should look, provided it's a modern one of the modern smartphone. So let's go ahead and click on one of these just to see how this looks. Let's go ahead and click on the tablet option. So once you do that, the page will load up and we will see, let me scroll just a little bit to make this a full screen, but you'll see we have a nice little border that resembles an iPad or a tablet in general. And our website has automatically been resized to fit in those dimensions. And the same thing goes for if we were to click on the mobile view as well. You can see that we now get a smaller phone view, and we can see exactly how that would look on a smartphone as well. And then just to show off the desktop mode as well, this is what it looks like here. So whatever preview you take a look at, that's exactly how it's going to look like on your own personal devices. No, well, there was one other button here that we saw, which was the publish button. We will I'll touch on that in just a little bit, but let's leave that alone for now. I'm going to go ahead and click on the edit button over on the left-hand side of this banner to go back to the live designer that we were looking at just before. Now, just below that banner we were looking at, you will see two other sections that we can interact with. On the left-hand side here, this is where we see a preview of our homepage. This is the working preview as opposed to the ones that we were just looking at. This is where we'll be able to go through and we can drag and drop all of the different widgets, which I will touch on in just a moment. This is essentially where we can place all of our content, and we can adjust the look and feel and where all of the pieces of content will lie on the website itself. So essentially, we will be doing the bulk majority of all of our editing within this preview. Now, on the right-hand side, there are a couple of different things that we can do here. One, there is the content tab, which we are currently in. This will give us access to all of the various different widgets that we can use and place on our website. When you're looking at these widgets, just know that these are effectively the various different pieces of content that you can use to upgrade your website, input new information, and make sure that anything that you want to share is shared publicly on your homepage. We will take a look at some of these widgets in just a little bit, but I did want to touch on these other two tabs that are available here as well. The first one, or I should say the second in the on this section, is the themes tab. This themes tab is where you can go and you can select between the various different themes so you can change the look and feel of your website. You'll get a nice little preview for each individual theme that's displayed here for you. So you can see, get a quick understanding of what it might look like. And then you'll also have several different color options that you can choose from. So for example, the community theme that we are currently on, which is highlighted in blue, we are on the Azure and Gold theme. But if, for example, you didn't like this color scheme that we currently have, you can go through and you can pick any of these various other color schemes as well. So let's go ahead and pick one here. Let's pick charcoal and sky blue. Once we click on that, you'll see that the page will update and all of the different colors for our page has been updated. So if you wanted to go through and pick a different color for the theme that you have enabled, you can go ahead and do that. Or if you wanted to pick an entire an entire new theme, you can do that as well. So we can also take a look at the elegant theme here as well, just to see what that might look like. Let's go ahead and pick the lilac one. And now you can see the entire feel of the website has changed once we've picked a new theme. There are a bunch of them available for you to select here. So I would recommend, if you are taking a look at your website, that you go through, see which ones that you think might work the best for your club, and then play around with the various different color options that are available to you as well. It'll let you go through, pick exactly what you want, and it'll give you the right feel that you might be going for. The next section that we have up on this right-hand side is the Layouts tab. If we click on this tab here, you'll see we have a number of different options that you can select between. Now, these different layouts will affect where you can actually place the content on your homepage. So for example, right now we have the full width top band above left sidebar, the layout selected. So if we were to scroll down our page, you can see we have a smaller section along on the left-hand side of our website. Well, we have one bigger main section that goes down on the right-hand side. So this is what that's describing: the exact positioning and layout of your club's website. If we wanted to take a look at another one, for example, we can go ahead and select one here just by clicking on the little image thumbnail icon. Let's go ahead and select the full width top band above 3 columns layout. And once we do that, the page will refresh and you can see that the page looks slightly different now. Now, instead of only having the one left column and the one big right column, we now have the left column just as we did before. But that right column has now been broken up into two sections. We have the main section going down the center. And then we have another smaller right-hand section as well. Now you can feel free to go ahead and play around with any of these different layouts to see which one might fit you the best. One of the most popular ones that I see a lot of clubs decide to use is either the full width top band above right sidebar or its alternate left sidebar version as well, or the full width top band above 3 columns layout. These are usually the most popular ones that I've seen, but the other ones are available for you to use as well if those are something that you prefer to. So we've taken a look and we've looked at some of the different themes that you can apply and how you can go about doing that. We've also gone ahead and taken a look at some of the different layouts, but how do we actually go about, say, changing the content on the actual homepage and adding different widgets? Now let's go ahead and we're going to go back to the content tab of the website designer. And this is where I mentioned you have access to all of the different widgets for your website. Just to reiterate it, the widgets that you can place on your website are essentially the different pieces of content that you can share on wherever you would like on your homepage. So for example, we have a couple of different categories that are listed here for us to take a look at. The essentials category here is one of the most important. This contains a lot of the primary widgets or pieces of content that a lot of clubs would like to share on their website. So for example, we have a meeting information widget. And if we go ahead and click on this little magnifying glass in the top right corner of that widget, you'll get a nice little preview so you can see what that might look like for you. So this specific widget gives you access, will share some information regarding your club's meeting information. So we can see we have a nice little motto, our meeting address, as well as a nice little note to join on where we can join the meeting. So let's go ahead and close that for now. What if we wanted to go through and actually put this on our website? I like this meeting information widget. How do I actually make that go on my website? So all you need to do in this case, once you found a widget that you want to go through, you will just need to click and drag on your mouse to select that widget, and you should see a nice little pop-up or a little ghost version of it appear underneath your cursor. And then we can drag it over to the preview section of our website designer. And if we move it into any of these different orange highlighted sections, so you can see here we have a top section highlighted in orange, a left, a main, and a right section. You can go ahead and drag this to any of these different sections, and you'll see a green drop here box appear. Wherever you see that green drop here box appear is where the widget will be placed once we release and let go of the left mouse button that we are currently holding. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop it here in the main section, just above our homepage video widget that we already have listed. And once we do that, you should see the page refresh, and the widget will then start to display exactly where that drop here box was displayed. So you can see this is what we had in the preview. We have some quick information regarding our meeting information, including the address, as well as so a nice little note to join our club meetings at Dundas Street Grill. You might also notice there are some buttons down here at the bottom as well to access some club bulletins, so a link to the district website, as well as a map of the meeting venue. That was pretty straightforward and relatively easy. But what if we wanted to kind of play around with this widget just a little bit more? What you can do, if you wanted to change any of the specific information that's displayed here, we can hover our mouse cursor over that widget after it's been placed, and you'll see that we now have it's now been highlighted in blue, and the club information text here, if we go ahead and click on this, it will now bring us to the club information page for our club as a whole within the member area. So we can now go through and we can change the information that we have here. So for example, we can change our meeting information. Let's go ahead and change our meeting times to, let's say we now meet on Fridays. So I'm going to update that note as well as the actual date and time. And I'm going to go ahead and click save. We get a nice little confirmation message that the meeting's information has been updated. Now, if we were to go back to the website designer, when we take a look at the widget, you'll see that it hasn't been updated quite yet. So I'm actually going to go ahead and hover over the cursor one more time. And this time we're going to go ahead and click on the widget properties icon in the top right corner. This looks like a little gear or a cog, like a cog in a wheel. If we click on that, we will get a new pop-up window for our widget properties. This is where we can go and we can make some additional stylized changes to the widget. Like, so we can go ahead and we can add some padding around the widget itself in case maybe it was maybe it was hugging up against another widget a little bit too much, and you want to kind of create a little bit of space between it and anything around it. You can add some padding to the various edges, the various edges of the widget. So the left, right, top, and bottom edges. We can also go ahead and add a border that can appear around the widget. So let's go ahead and add a dotted border. And then next we can add specify the thickness for that border. If you leave it blank, it'll automatically fill that in for you. But let's go ahead and fill that in. So let's go ahead and set a thickness of 5 pixels, just for the sake of the example. Next, we can then go ahead and select the border color. So this will allow us to just simply change the color of how that border appears. So you can go ahead and select any specific color that you would like. And what would you think would work best for your club website? For the sake of the example, I'm just going to go ahead and select this red here. Now, if we scroll down just a little bit further, we will see some additional options that are available to us as well. The header properties section allow us to adjust the title of the widget. So right now it's set to club information. But if you noticed, let me go ahead and save this really quickly. So after I've saved that, you can see the border has popped up around. But if you might have noticed, there's no real title about this widget. It doesn't say club information anywhere. It's just kind of placed on that page. So if we wanted to make sure that a title is displayed like club information here, for example, we need to go ahead and make sure that the show title option is checked. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, if we click save, we should see it update, and we will have that nice little club information title that's displayed now. But that wasn't quite it for everything in that properties. So let's open up that one more time and take a look at some of these last ones. So if we scroll down a little bit further, we now have access, or we now can see the content properties section instead. Or well, not instead, in addition to everything else. It's just shown at the very bottom of the pop-up window. So here is where we can specify and customize the specific content that's within it and what's displayed. So for example, we can either choose to show or hide the club logo. If I move this over to the right just a little bit, you can see we have the Create Hope in the World logo that's appearing. We can go ahead and disable that if we would like. We can also choose to hide the club motto, which would be what we have listed under Service Above Self. We can also go through and change some of the colors that are displayed here. So let's do that as well. Just for this, let's just pick something random just for the sake of the example. So we'll pick red and blue. We can choose to show a link to the district website. You might see that this one is unchecked for now, but if we go ahead and check that, we can add that on. Then we can also choose to show a custom link. So right now, that district link that we have on there currently is set to the text is set to our district, and it goes to www.rotary.org. Let me actually update that and just say Rotary International. That'll make it fit just a little bit better. And then here we can also choose to show a link to the venue map as well. So let's go ahead and save these changes. And we'll see that all of this information will then be updated. So we've gone ahead and we've hidden that logo and we've changed some of the colors here. Oh, that doesn't look too good. But you can see that it's been updated. Let me actually go ahead and change that back. So if you go through, sorry, let me start that again. So in this case, we've gone through and we've made some changes, but we don't actually like the way that it looks. This is a little hard to read and it's a little ugly if I were to be honest. If we go back into our widget properties, we can then go through, and if we wanted to, we can undo all of the changes that we made. So we can uncheck show border. We can remove all of the padding that we've added. The border style, we can add it back to default. We can set the thickness back to 0. For items like the colors, for example, you just have to click on the default link right next to it, and that'll revert it back to what it was before. So let's go ahead and just undo all of this. So we'll check show logo again. We will set the content title and background colors to the default. And I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to leave this here. We're going to leave this text as Rotary International. I'm going to go ahead and click save. And you can see it's updated right back. So when you're going through and you are playing around with these different widgets, don't be scared of messing something up. You can always go back and make your changes again, and you can fix it up however you would like. It's not a once you click save, or once you click that save button for the widget, that's not the end of the world. You can always go back and continue to make changes. The big thing on that front is that publish button in the top right corner. Whenever any changes that you make within the website designer will not be automatically made live on your club's website. So you can feel free to go ahead and play around with with the design and all of the content that's displayed within it. As long as you do not press this publish button, your changes aren't public. You'll be able to continue to play around with it however you would like until you've made until you click on this publish button. So let's actually go ahead and show that as an example. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. Let's go ahead and add a pre-formatted widget. If you were to go ahead and take a look at some of these available here, these are essentially just blank widgets that you can use that come in a format already. So for example, we have the article with left image widget. If we were to click and drag this to our main section, you can see that this widget has already been formatted for us. So we have a nice little header section at the top of it, another section where we can add the body of our content, as well as the option to add an image and a button. So let's go ahead and put some information in here. Let's go ahead and just say website designer overview for the title. Welcome to the website designer webinar. Let's also go ahead and add an image here. If we were to hover our mouse cursor over the image section, you'll see a nice little pencil icon up here in the center. And when we click on that, looks like it opened up on my other monitor, but here you go. What will open up is the ClubRunner image library. So if you wanted to go through and add an image to anything, this is where you'll be doing it through. Now let's go ahead and select an image. I'm not sure if we have any here. Yeah, there we go. So we have a handful of images that we've already uploaded. But if you wanted to upload your own, you can go ahead and click on this upload button in the top left of this pop-up window. And another window will show up for your computer where you can go through and navigate around the various folders on your computer where you'll be able to find the image that you would like. And once you've done that, you could just go ahead and click on the open button down here. We already have some images uploaded here, so I'm not going to do that in this case. But this is how you would go about uploading any images when you're going through this process. So I'm just going to go ahead and click cancel for now. Now, once your images have been uploaded to the ClubRunner image library, you can then go ahead, find it wherever you may have it saved. So we're going to go ahead and use this image of apples. Let me zoom in just a little bit. There we go. So we have this images of some apples here and a couple hands. All we're going to do is double click on that image. And you'll see it is automatically populated into that little image section in the widget that we just added. So we've gone ahead, we've added this widget to our homepage. Now let's actually go ahead and take a look at our homepage itself. A really quick way to do that, if we want to see the currently live version of the website, is to click on this View Live Page button in the top right corner. If we click on that, it should open up a new tab where it'll bring us directly to the website, to our homepage that is currently live and accessible to any member of the public. So if we were to scroll down, you can see here's our homepage video, but that widget that we just added isn't appearing quite yet. This is exactly what I was mentioning before, where as long as you don't press that publish button, this homepage won't be updated. So I'm actually going to go back to our website designer. Now, if I go through and click on the publish button, you'll get a nice little green confirmation message down in the bottom right corner of the screen. And if we go back to our homepage and we refresh, you should see that the theme for our website has changed like we did before. And you can see our new website designer overview widget is now displaying just above our homepage video. Same thing with that club information widget we added as well. So as long as you are making your changes and you do not press that publish button, you are safe to continue playing around however you would like. As soon as you click on that publish button, that is when everything is made live. That's a very important thing to note when you're working with the website. Now, one of the other things that we would like to touch on, actually, before we move on, I did want to go through these various different categories of widgets that I did not touch on quite yet. So I did want to give each of you a quick description of each of these different categories, as well as some of the major widgets within them, for you to keep an eye on that. Maybe you might want to use some of these. The pre-formatted widgets, as I mentioned when we added this website designer overview widget, is that these are widgets that you can go ahead. They are completely blank, but they've already been formatted for you. So if you wanted to go through and add something in a nice in a nice little format, I would recommend using these. We've already taken a look at the article with left image widget. You have the exact same thing, but it's reversed. It's article with right image. Then we also have examples here like call to action. Let's go ahead and drag this one in. This one allows you to go through and add a nice little title or header up at the top. And then you also have access to 3 different buttons that you can click on. We also have ones like the double column text widget, where it's just 2 separate text boxes so that you can add whatever text you would like. So let's go ahead and say, welcome to the webinar. Designer. So I'm just going to copy and paste this just for the sake of filling it up with a little bit of text. And we can do the same thing over here. So it's just 2 different text boxes that you can go through and use. And then we also have items like the image with caption, left image with text boxes, right image with text boxes. Another really popular one that I see used quite a bit is this text image above text, or sorry, triple image above text widget. This one is a pretty popular one. Let's drag it on top. Here we will have access to include several different images, or I say several, but you have access to 3 different images, as well as a little caption area down at the bottom. So for example, let's go ahead and select a new image. Let's go ahead and say here. And then we can go ahead and change the caption option down here by clicking on that text box. So we can say, for example, join a project. Join a project. And if we wanted to format this text in any way, we can choose to make it bold, italicize it, add an underline. We can change the color of the text if we wish, as well as things like the formatting, so we can turn it into a header, change the different font styles, as well as the font size. So you could do that for each one of these. Let's go ahead and actually fill this up really quickly. So I'll add one for each, just for the sake of showing you guys how this works. So we can go ahead and add one in for each one of these different sections. There we go. Monthly club events. We can change the size of it however we wish. And we can do we care for everyone. As a note, I myself am not a website designer, so the things that I'm putting together right now may not look the best, but these are all tools that are available to you for you to use and design things however you wish. And it makes it really easy and straightforward for you to go through and set things up exactly how you wanted to. If, for example, you don't like how one of the widgets that you added looks and you just want to get rid of it entirely, in the top, if we hover over any individual widget that you want to get rid of, in the top right corner, there is a little X icon. And if we click on that, it will remove it from the designer entirely. So we can go through and remove everything that we just added. And now we're back to what we were at the start. So we've looked at the pre-formatted widgets. We've looked at some of the essentials widgets. I did want to go over this one just very briefly once more. The essentials category here is some of the more popularly used widgets and some of the ones that you'll probably want to consider adding to your website. So we've already looked at our meeting information widget, but we also have access to things like the executives and directors widget, where I believe we should have one listed already. Here we go. So this executives and directors widget is the same thing as the one that we have listed here. It is essentially just a list of all of your club's executives. And on the homepage, if you were to click on any one of these executives' names, it will bring the visitor to a quick contact page for you, so that they can reach out to any of the executives that you wish. The homepage stories widget is another really popular one, and we actually don't seem to have it on the website currently. Actually, there we go. It's right here. The club stories will allow you to go through and save a handful of different stories or news postings that your club may have created for your web or for your club, and display it on the website. And now, just like we did for the club information widget, every single one of these these widgets that we have available, if you go ahead and click on that center edit widget icon, it will either allow you to edit the widget directly on that directly within the website designer, or it will bring you to the associated page, like the stories widget just brought us to the stories for homepage page within the member area. So if it brings you to a page like this, that means that all of that content will automatically be updated through this backend or through this page, while any widgets that you might have to click on and edit directly within they'll be more manually edited, and you would have to do that through the website designer. Let's go ahead and click on go back really quick, and just let's continue going down this list here. If you wanted to, for example, share a handful of files that you wanted to share with members of the public, the homepage download files widget is a good way to do that. If you wanted to add things like a photo album, that you can use the homepage photo albums widget. If you wanted to share birthday, like a host of upcoming birthdays, anniversaries, you can use the birthdays and anniversaries widget. Now, these are all very popular ones, but that's not everything that we have here. As you can see, we have a handful of other sections that are available to you as well. So let's go ahead and let's check out the carousels option. Now, the carousels option is a pretty special one, and one that I really like for myself. This allows you to add a sliding banner of images of your choosing to your website. So you can actually see we have one on our website already. So if I were to go back to our homepage here, this top banner where we have this image and it says "Together we inspire," this will automatically scroll through a handful of different pictures that we've selected. So it's a nice way to kind of add a little bit of flair to your website. Of course, you might see that there is a little bit of text here, like this "Learn about our history." This is a button that we can click on that will bring us to another page as well. Just like this. We're going to go back. And you can also manually kind of pick through the pages as you see fit as well. Wrong tab. There we go. So if you wanted to go ahead and create one of these widgets, you can go ahead, drag and drop it onto the website, and it will automatically bring you to the page where you need to go in and enter in some specific information. So for example, you can go ahead and add a quick description by clicking on the edit button for the carousel properties. If we want to change some of the properties for the widget itself rather than the images that appear, you can do that as well. So we can adjust some of the exact same settings that we saw before for some of the other widgets. You can add a border, change the padding color. You can change the title, choose whether or not you want to show it. But at the bottom here, we have some settings that are specific to the carousel. And this goes exactly the same as every other widget as well. You'll have access to some generic settings that are available for everything. And then towards the bottom, you'll have more specific settings for that specific widget. So in this case, we can change things like the type of animation that is used. So it can slide between the different images, which is the default. Or you can have it fade in and out of the different images that you might select, as well as some other more creative ones like cube or cover flow and flip. I would recommend, if you are setting up a carousel like this, to go through and play around with these settings, these animations, and see which ones you prefer. You can also set stuff like the transition time. So this will change how long an individual image will sit and be displayed for before it transitions to the next image. The show slide indicators allows you is what will kind of allow you to indicate what image and how many images are displayed. So if we take a look at that one we have on our homepage, you can see these 4 little dots, and one is highlighted in white. These are the indicators, and it just shows you which image in the slide you're currently looking at. You can go ahead and play around with all of these, however you see fit. So once you're happy with this, you can go ahead and click Save to finalize those changes. And then next is the carousel slides section, which is, in my opinion, the biggest part of this. This is where you can go through and upload all of the different images that you want to display here. If you go ahead and click on the Upload Slide button, you will get a new little pop-up where we can then go through and select exactly what you want displayed. So under image settings here, if we click on this load from image library link, it will once again open up that image, that image library for us. And now we can go through and we can select some images that we want displayed. So we have some of let's actually just go ahead and pick some of these images as well. Once this loads up for us. So here we go. These are the exact same images that we have in that other carousel that we were looking at. But this works exactly the same as it did before when we were in the image library. All we need to do is double click on the image that we would like, or you can go ahead and upload the images if you haven't uploaded them already. Now, if we were to scroll down, we can add some more information about this individual slide. So we can add a title. So let's just call this one Connect. And then we can also go ahead and choose to add a description. By default, this description is hidden. But if you choose to select this show slide description option on the carousel, it will actually go ahead and display it on the homepage whenever this slide is being displayed. So you can go ahead and play around with that as you would like. Or we can just say this is the description, just for the sake of the example. And we can scroll down just a little bit further. Now we have some advanced content settings. So this allows us to add like a background to our description and maybe to make it transparent. So let's actually go ahead and do that. So I'm going to make it this nice little red color, and I'm going to set the transparency to 50. So what this is going to do is it's going to add a red background to this description that we've added in. But now that we've set the transparency to 50, we'll start to be able to kind of see through it. So it's not going to entirely block out the slide that's there. There will just be a nice small semi-transparent red background behind our text, and we'll still be able to see our image through it. Now, if we scroll down a little bit further, we can also choose to add a link. Now, this is where you can go about adding that button that we saw on the carousel on our homepage that's already there. So we can say, for example, click here to learn more. Now you can select the link type to whatever you would like it to be. So you can have a custom URL, a custom link it to any custom page we might have created, documents, events, whatever you would like it to link to. Let's go ahead and leave it as a custom URL for now. And we can go ahead and enter in a link to wherever we want to share that. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it to clubrunner.ca. And then finally, the button style. It will allow you to change how that button appears or in the style that it uses on your homepage. So you can choose primary or secondary. I would recommend going through and selecting whichever one you think works the best for your slides and the style of your website. And of course, you can also choose to have it open up in a new window as opposed to replacing what you're currently in. So let's go ahead and click save. And this will now go ahead and add that slide to our carousel. And we can go ahead and we can add a couple of these in here. So I'm going to add one more so that we can take a look. And we'll go ahead and leave it like this. Go ahead and click save. So we now have 2 carousel images added here. Now, if you wanted to do this all in bulk, you can also go ahead and click on upload multiple slides. And this will bring us to this upload photos to dynamic carousel 2 page, where if we click add files, it will bring up that same window where we can navigate through our own files on our local computer. And we can select this and upload them all in bulk. Or in this case, I don't have to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on cancel. And then I'm going to go back to the previous page. Now, one other thing before we move on is how you can go about managing the slides that you've already added in. If, for example, you wanted to reorder the order that they appear in, along the left-hand side, you will see, let me zoom in just a little bit to make this a little easier to see. There are 3 little dots along the left-hand side of the carousel slide thumbnail. And if we click and drag on that, we can actually move this up and down in the list. So if we wanted this end polio slide to appear first or last, we can go ahead, or anywhere in between, we can go ahead and move that however we see fit. And of course, if you ever wanted to come back here and make any changes to these slides or outright delete them, you can use this actions section to do that as well. So edit will open up the page so you can make changes to the description and all the settings about that slide, while delete will just get rid of it for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click go back so we can navigate back to our homepage designer. And you can actually see that we have the second carousel added here at the top. So it works exactly the same, and you can go through and play around with this however you would like. I do recommend that you do at least take a look at this carousel option. I think it personally looks really nice on a lot of different websites. So it's a good thing to play around with. Now, some of the other sections that we have here, like the links category, allows us to add links to our website. Let's go ahead and drag and drop this over here. And this will bring us to the manage links page. So we can go through, we can add a handful of different links that we want to share to visitors of our website. Let's go ahead and click on the add new link button. Now, once this is loaded up for us, we'll be able to start going ahead and entering in some specific information regarding that link. Oh, actually, it looks like my click didn't register. So I've gone ahead, I've clicked it again, and it's brought us to this links page. So we can now choose how we want this link to display as. So we can either leave it as text, or if you wanted to upload an image as well, you can do that too. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as text for now. And let's go ahead and say, I'll enter in some text and we'll leave it set it to Rotary International. Next, we can select the link type. So we can select a custom URL, a built-in page that has been provided by ClubRunner, any custom pages, documents, events, etc. All of this stuff we can select between. So for this one, let's go ahead and leave it as custom URL. And we'll go ahead and type in the URL that we want to link to. So let's go ahead and type in the website www.rotary.org. Now, this group section is a little interesting. This is how this group feature allows you to kind of organize the list however you would like. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this as create new group because we actually don't have any quite yet. And I'm going to say Rotary related as our group name. So any Rotary related items we will have placed in this group. And then of course, this one doesn't really matter because this is our first list. But when we're creating a link and we add it to a group or to wherever, you can choose whether you want to automatically place it at the top or the bottom of the list. The very last option is whether you want to have it open in a new window or load in the exact same window that you're currently using. I usually recommend that if it's going to an external website, that you leave it to open in a new window, or if it's just another page on your own website, that you would uncheck this and have it use the same window instead. In this case, we're going to go ahead and leave it checked. And then we'll go ahead and click Save. So we can see we now have our Rotary related group, as well as our link here. Now let's go ahead and let's add one or two more links here just so that we can fill it out a little bit. So we'll go ahead and add some more links. And this time we're going to go ahead and create another new group. Title this one Club Runner. Place it at the top of the list, and then we'll click Save. So you can see we built out two different groups. You can add as many groups and as many links as you would like to this widget, and you'll have them all displayed however you see fit. I go ahead and click Go Back. You can now see that that links page on our website has now been updated. Just like before, we all can click on this cog icon after hovering over it to edit the specific widgets, specific properties of our widget. And that's how you can go about adding using the links widget as well. Now, we're going to quickly speed through these last few ones. The events category allows us to add information about, say, about any upcoming events. So for our mini calendar, for example, we have a nice little calendar appear on the left-hand side. We already have one placed here, so you can have an example of what that might look like for you. Upcoming events, we have one listed here. This will provide a list of any upcoming events that the club has created within Event Planner or My Event Runner, whichever event system you choose to use. And the same thing with speakers. We have this one here. This will show a list of any upcoming speaker events that you might have created as well. Now the next one is the bulletin and PR category. This is a handful of different widgets that you can use to advertise a bunch of different things for your club. Mainly, you can add the option to have a bulletin subscribe button. So if anyone is interested in receiving your club bulletins, we can go ahead and add this bulletin subscribe button, widget, and it will give a quick link on your homepage where it says click here to sign up, and it will allow individuals to sign up of their own volition to receive your bulletins. If you wanted to share a list of all of your club's bulletins, you can do that with the bulletins widget. So let's go ahead and drag this in as well. So you can see we only have one bulletin in this specific case, but we can display a list here. Now I want to take a look at the properties of this widget really quickly. You've seen all of these properties before. We have the generic general properties and header properties, as well as some of the regular content properties too. Next, we have some items like the Facebook like button. So let's go ahead and drag that in really quickly. You can link this with your club's Facebook page, and individuals will be able to come in and like your page. It's relatively straightforward, and I know a lot of clubs like to have that feature there. We can also add some really quick Rotary links. These will be some popular links to some of the various different Rotary websites. So you have ones to the Rotary International website, RI President Home, the Global Rewards website, as well as some more information like how you can go about joining Rotary, some of Rotary's history, the Rotary Foundation, as well as some information for new members as well. These links cannot be edited, unfortunately, but these are some more common and more popular Rotary pages that are good to advertise to visitors as well. Now, you may also see we have some information about sponsors. We don't have enough time to go over this, unfortunately, but if you have any website sponsors for your organization, you can use these three widgets, the sponsors widgets, to create, say, a little advertisements for them on your website as well. And the very last section here are the custom widgets global and custom widgets page specific. Now, We are not going to go over these two in depth, but and you'll find more information about this in the advanced webinar website designer webinar tomorrow. But these essentially allow you to go through and create your own widgets completely from scratch. If you wanted to say go ahead and format a widget on your own accord, however you would like, you can do that with these. If your club has anyone familiar with website design and can use languages like HTML in order to essentially build up the website from absolute nothing, these are the tools, the widgets that you're going to want to use. They give you 100% customizability in the sense that you can go through and you can add whatever content in whatever format, and including things like advanced stuff like custom HTML. Again, these will be covered a little bit more in depth in tomorrow's advanced session. So that's all of the different widget categories that we do have available within the website designer. And these are a great foundation for you to go through and take a look at all this information. Now, there is one other thing that I did want to talk about before we wrap up the webinar today, and that's going through and actually editing your navigation menu. We've talked about how you can go through and edit the actual homepage, but this navigation menu is really important. And I know we are a little bit over time, unfortunately, so I will try to go through this quickly. But if we were to go through and hover our mouse cursor over this edit navigation, the navigation menu at the top of our website, you'll get the nice blue highlight. We can click on edit navigation. And now we can go through and we can take a look at exactly what we have here. We have a handful of folders. Let me go ahead and minimize these to make it a little bit easier to see. And these are all made of what's called menu items. We have individual folders, and then we have actual links to different pages on our website. So we have folders allow you to organize these however you would like and create drop-down menus. And then the actual links themselves allow you to visit the different sections. If you want to add a new folder or a new item, all you need to do is click on the Add New Menu Item button. Enter in your menu title or however you would like, whatever you would like it to say. So let's go ahead and say help, or let's go ahead and just say support. You can add a tooltip. So if someone were to hover their mouse cursor over that title, they'll get a nice little pop-up message. And then the most important type is the link. Part is the link type. So we can either select a folder, or we can choose to link it to any of the individual items that you see here. So we can link to a built-in page that is available for us, custom pages we've created, a custom external URL, any documents, events, download files, etc. All of the stuff you can link to. So let's go ahead and create a folder really quickly just so you can see how that works. We'll leave it as support here, and then we'll go ahead and click save. If we scroll down, you can see our support folder has been added. Now we're going to go ahead and add a sub menu item to it by clicking on the add menu action to the right. Now it's the exact same page. So we're going to go ahead and just type in Club Runner support. We'll type in a tooltip of visit us for more information on how to use Club Runner. Club Runner. And then we'll go ahead and select a link type of custom URL, and we'll just go ahead and enter that in really quickly. Go ahead and click save. And now we have our support folder here and Club Runner support. If you wanted to move these around in the order as well, same thing as we did in the carousel, click and drag on the 3 dots, and you can move it wherever you would like. So I'm going to place it just before the calendar section here. Actually, let's place it right after it. Now I'm going to scroll up to the top of the page, and we're going to go ahead and click the Publish Menu button. This is going to go through, and it's going to publish the homepage for us. You'll get a quick little pop-up message, just confirming whether or not you want to proceed. Once you click OK, the page will be published. You'll get a nice little confirmation message here. Now, if we were to go back to our homepage and refresh, you'll be able to see we now have that support option here. And if we go ahead and click on the Club Runner support item that we added, it'll bring us directly to that website that we linked to. So I know we did go slightly over time. I'm very, I will like to apologize for that. We are a little over time. But I do want to make sure that we do get to some Q&A items. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to invite Serena over here, and she'll go through and we're going to try to answer some of the questions that you guys may have asked during the webinar. Thank you very much, Serena. Take it away.
Thanks, Michael. So we've been really busy. There was lots of questions in both the chat and the Q&A. I did have to direct a little bit to the Q&A just because it's easier for questions not to get lost, but I'm glad I was able to get to most people fairly quickly and also provide links there. So I did have a couple of questions, and Singer was asking, how many photos is too many in carousels? In my experience, I haven't seen it. I haven't come across it. I don't think there is a limit, is there, Michael? As far as I'm aware of.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I don't believe there is a limit on the carousels. You can add as many images as you would like. I did want to note, however, that sometimes, depending on how large the images that you are uploading to the carousel, it can have an effect on how fast that page loads whenever someone's visiting the website. So usually I would recommend sticking to maybe 5 or 6 images. Is usually a good bet, but theoretically there is no limit. You can feel free to add as much as you want. Just be aware that the more that you add and the larger these images become in terms of like file size, it makes members have to download more information, and that could in then turn cause longer load times. So just it's a little bit of a balancing act in that regard.
Perfect. So Deborah was asking if there's a click me button that shows up in the homepage designer. So can we just go over there on the left?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and
Perfect.
open up the homepage designer.
Fantastic. So when we click, hover over, this is what I understood. When we hover over on the widgets on the right-hand side, it does show click me. But I wasn't able to locate that on my side. So
So when you're looking, yes. I'm just to go over a couple of things. On the right-hand side, I'm not sure exactly this is what the question was asking in this case, but on this right-hand side, there are a couple of different icons that you can click on for each individual widget. If you see a little magnifying glass, you can click on that to bring up a quick preview of the widget and what that might look like on your website. Now, if you see something like this plus icon, that means it is a default, just a default widget that hasn't been created quite yet. So you can drag and drop these into the widget, and you can customize it however you would like. So I did see a message. It's under bulletin and PR. Let's see. No, sorry, Debbie. If you wanted to maybe resubmit your question, that we'll be glad to take a look at it. But I'm not too sure.
Yeah, this was for Deborah. Debbie was actually asking about the RSS widget. She was wondering about the refresh rate because she had it set to 24 hours, but she was having some trouble with it getting refreshed. I was thinking it was it was due to cookies and cache, but she's tried it on a separate browser. Do we know what that might be? Probably investigate further, maybe.
Yeah, it would be good to take a look at. Usually, the refresh rate on the RSS feed will come from the feed itself. Now, if you've gone through and you've updated the link, you've seen that it's updated, the RSS feed is updating, but you're not seeing those changes come through to Club Runner. One thing that you can try to do is if you come into the website designer and you come over to your RSS feed that you have here, and you open up the properties, all you really need to do, you do have the refresh right here. So it should update automatically here. But if it doesn't update, you can try giving it a little bit of a kick to force it to update by opening up these widget properties and clicking on the save button. And what that will do is it will cause the widget to refresh, and hopefully then it should take those take the new updates from the feed. If you're still not seeing anything, feel free to reach out to our support team, and we'll try to take another closer look at it. And just as another note, a little on behalf of that does work for pretty much every widget that can update with some information. If you ever need to give it a little kick to make sure that it and force it to update, you can just open up the properties for that widget, click save, and it should refresh and bring in the new information.
Okay, perfect. So with regards to the 3 dots, so we see these 3 dots right beside the Facebook like button. This actually makes the widget area and the homepage editor area bigger and smaller if we drag and drop. So can we just demonstrate that for everybody?
Yeah, so if
not there, I'm sorry.
Not
You see where bulletin subscribe is? Just to the left of there.
Oh, yes, this. Yes.
So if you drag it, that's what it does, Eve. I hope that helps.
So if you need a little bit more room to work with on one side or the other, you can click and drag these 3 dots, and you can resize it however you would like.
Perfect. So I'm going to get back to Debbie outside of the session. I do want to check out this RSS feed for you directly, Debbie. Thank you for your patience with that. I don't have any more questions on my side. Did anybody else have anything for me at this moment?
If they have any last minute questions, feel free to send them into the Q&A chat.
We got 2 minutes. Going, please. Thank you.
So I guess while we're waiting for some more questions to come in, if anyone else does have any other questions, is one thing that I did want to mention. For any of you Rotary clubs that might be attending, I would recommend that you check out the Rotary Brand Center. I'm sure some of you are already familiar with this, and I'm actually going to send a link to it in the Zoom chat really quickly. This is a good resource that you can go ahead and take a look at. So you can get a good understanding of the styling requirements and guidelines that Rotary sets for its own Rotary clubs. So you can come here, they'll provide an outline of all of these guidelines that might be necessary for you, as well as you can go through and grab different resources. So they have things like stock images, photos, videos, and they also have the option for you to go through and create club logos for your websites. So this is a really good resource for you to take a look at when you're going through and trying to choose that design that you want for your club's own website. So it is really good to take a look at this.
Joyce was wondering how you can organize your photos in the library, in the photo library or the image library. If we can drag it, that's right.
Yeah, for sure. Let me go ahead and open up. Oh, I lost my page. There it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to navigate to the image library using through the backend here. If you guys want to follow along with me, that is in the top blue navigation menu of the member area. You're going to click on website, and then you can click on image library in the secondary gray bar just below. Now, typically all of your images will generally be uploaded to this My Images folder. And you can see that we have a bunch here, but it can kind of get a little bit messy if you just go through and start uploading everything to the same folder. So what I would recommend that you do if you wanted to kind of help prevent that or organize anything is you under this left-hand side where you have access to this folder section. If you right-click My Images, you can actually go ahead and click on New Subfolder. And then you can go ahead and type in whatever you would like it to be named. So you can say, for example, club meetings for 2023. So this can be a big repository for all the images and pictures that you take during any specific club meetings. So that's how you can go about kind of going through and organizing all of those images that you might have in the image library. I would recommend going ahead and making these folders. It's honestly, it's a lifesaver, and it's saved me a couple of times when I've been working through the platform.
Perfect. So we did have a couple of questions. Just know that we have all of our pricing information and additional details available on our website at clubrunner.ca/pricing. At the bottom of this page, we're also going to have our payment processor information available there. That's not specifically covered in this session. We went into this a little bit more detail yesterday in our e-commerce session, as well as our dues and billing. We will make all of these videos available within approximately 2 weeks. It does take a bit of time for us to convert the videos and upload them. We want to make sure that everybody has access to them and they're in a visual and accessible format for everybody. We appreciate everybody's patience with us answering these questions. There was quite a lot. Sorry if it took a couple more minutes than expected to get to you, but I did try to get to everybody in a timely fashion. I did make a couple of notes to get back to people outside of the session because we're going to look into their specific situations directly. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to us at support@clubrunner.ca. We're more than happy to help. We do also have our website at clubrunnersupport.com. You can call us at 1-855-621-2582, and we'll be happy to answer you at any time. Thank you so much, and it was wonderful having you.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you were able to take a lot from this webinar. I know me and Serena, we both enjoyed it throughout the entire time. So I wish you all the best rest of your evening, and I hope you were able to get some really well-deserved rest. Take care, everyone.